one of your co-chairs here with my colleague, Peter Lindstrom, another co who I'll let Peter. But thanks everyone for coming. We have a great agenda. We're going to start out with introductions where I ask you to just give your name and your organization. And then we always do partner updates at the end, just because otherwise we take a long time. So if you tell us if you're going to have a partner update, like if you have just a quick date or something you want us to know about, tell us now. If you have something that you want to tell us about, let us know. We're going to put it in the parking lot, and then we'll know how much time to leave for the parking lot after, at the end of the meeting. So we just want to know if you have anything that you're going to want to share with us later on, and if it's a really quick update, you can give it now. So I'll just start again. Mary Jo McGuire, Ramsey County Commissioner, co-chair, and excited to see everyone here. I'll let Peter go, then I'll have Connie, you go, and then I'll just call on people, and I'll give you 2 people to be ready. So Peter, then Connie.
Good afternoon, everybody. Peter Lindstrom. I represent District 10 for the Met Council. Great to be here.
Great, Peter. And will you have any updates, Peter? I forgot to say that too. I may have an update, but I'll wait and see if we have time.
I don't think I will, and I will have to excuse myself at about 4 o'clock.
Okay, wow. So if you do have any, especially if you have to leave early, you should give your update now. So yeah, well, we'll try to be, I think we're going to try and have this be an hour-and-a-half meeting. So we hopefully will get to updates even before then. So thank you, Connie, and then Michelle.
Hello, I'm Connie Bernardi, Active Living Ramsey Communities Director. And of course, somebody is mowing my yard right outside. So it's nice to see everyone today. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. We love your work and your service, all your work for Active Living. Michelle, and then Greg Copeland.
Michelle Molstead, St. Paul, and I am an advocate for bike and transit.
Thank you, Michelle. Greg Copeland, and then Gloria, we're going to introduce you separately. So I'm going to go Greg and then Jocelyn. So Greg. Greg, are you there? We'll come back to Greg. Jocelyn, and then Mary.
Good afternoon. Happy summer, everybody. Jocelyn Anchetta with St. Paul County Public Health.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Mary, then Barrett.
Hi, Mary Morris Marty. I'm formerly the Executive Director of Move Minneapolis, recently emancipated from that, and I am a free agent here, bike, walk, safe communities advocate, and I live in the city of St. Paul. Great to be here.
Thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barrett Steenrod. I work with the National Park Service and the Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program. My coworker, Holly Larson, normally attends these meetings, but she couldn't today, so I'm here in her place. I'm a community planner helping with conservation and trail projects across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas.
Thank you, Barrett. Katie Everett, then Tony Desnick. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Everett. I'm the Recreation Supervisor with the City of Venice Heights. Very quick update. Our new pickleball courts are open, Mary.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell Roseville about this. My goodness, thank you so much. We're so excited. I'm a big pickleball player, and there's never any courts available. Lots of tennis courts available, I'd remind Roseville, not pickleball. Thank you, Katie. Okay. Sorry about that little interaction. Tony, and then Brian. Oh, Tony, and you're on mute.
I'm unmuted now, I hope.
Sorry about that.
I'm on the tablet today because my computer's updating. You know how it goes with computers. So I'm Tony Valois. I'm retired, and I just enjoy attending these meetings.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. So we'll wait for Tony Desnick or Tony Desnick. Okay, you're there. Let's get Tony Desnick. Yeah.
Tony Desnick from Cycling Without Age, Twin Cities. I'm also the Executive Director of the Finnish Cycling Embassy.
Oh, wow. I love hearing about all these organizations. So great. Thank you. Brian, and then Dorian.
I'm Brian Isaacson. I work for Ramsey County Public Works.
Thanks, Brian. And you're going to do the introduction of Gloria. So we aren't letting Gloria introduce herself. Sure. Okay. Yep. Dorian, then Heather.
Dorian Grilly, the Executive Director of the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota. And my update is the St. Paul Classic is on.
Woo, woo, woo. Yes. Oh, I'm excited. right. Oh, it's such a fun such a fun ride. What's the date? Quick date. Is it September 26th?
September 12th.
12th. Okay, great.
September 12th.
Thanks. All right, Heather, then Zoe.
Hi,
Zoe.
everyone. I'm Heather Peterson. I'm with Alina Health. I do community health and community engagement in the East Metro region.
Thank you for being here, Heather. Appreciate it. So, and then Nick Nicholson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zoe. I'm an intern with Ramsey County Public Works Multimodal Planning.
Love interns. Thank you, Zoe, for being here. Really appreciate it. Nick Olson, and then Joshua.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nick Olson. I work with the MnDOT Metro District Program Delivery Office, where I am the North Area Engineer.
Whew, great. Thank you, Joshua. Then Cheryl Bailey. So Joshua.
I'm Cheryl Bailey. I'm just a person.
We love persons. We love just persons, Cheryl. We love that people are interested in this work. So we're happy to have you. Where are you? Which part of the metro? Which part of Ramsey County are you from?
I live in St. Paul. I am a retired physician. I'm a biker and a walker, and have learned a lot about racial justice in the last couple of years. And I'm just kind of pro everything making communities stronger.
Well, we are really happy to have you here. Thank you for coming. Okay, Joshua, and then Betsy.
Hi, Joshua Hodak, he, him. I'm with the Sierra Club Minnesota North Star chapter. I live in South Minneapolis. I get around by walking, biking, transit, and driving. It's been a long time since I've been able to join one of these. So it's good to see some new and old faces.
It's great to have you, Joshua. Thank you so much. Betsy, and then Curtis Peterson.
Hi, everybody. Betsy Christensen with St. Paul Public Housing Agency. I coordinate our community health and environmental health initiatives at our 20 low-income housing sites in St. Paul.
Thank you for your work. Okay, Curtis Peterson, and then Samantha. Curtis, are you there? Well, if Samantha's there, or Serena Men.
You hear me?
Oh, Curtis, now we can hear you. Curtis.
Good. Kurt Peterson, Ramsey County Public Works. I'm enjoying the much cooler weather. Praise on that. And I want to just thank everybody for being here. And I'm the GIS mapping guy for Ramsey County.
Love it. Thanks, Curtis.
Thank you.
Great. Samantha, are you there?
Yep. Hi, I'm Samantha from St. Paul. I'm a citizen, also do biking in the community. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. Thank you so much. Serena Men. I don't see you there.
Hi, I'm Serena. I am a MnDOT Metro graduate engineer. I'm working with Nick in North Area right now. So
great. Thank you. Thank you for your work. We love the work of graduates. Okay. John Sickmeyer, and then Kay Berglund.
So John Sickmeyer, volunteer with Sustainable Stillwater out in Washington County. Happy to be here. Thanks.
Love it. We love sustainability, and we love our neighboring counties. So thanks. Kay Berglund. Yes, thanks, Kevin. And we can talk about the issue if we have time, or we can definitely take it offline and talk about the event. So thank you for bringing that up. Adika Swanson, and then Jesse Thornton.
Hi, I'm Anika Swanson. I'm an air policy planner at Minnesota Pollution Control, and joining you today to hear more about the I-94 project.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Jesse Thornton, and then Greg Pope. If you're there, we can hear from you, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse Thornton. I am a bicycle and pedestrian planner with the Minnesota Department of Transportation.
Metro District Office.
Wow, great. Thank you for that. Greg Copeland, are you there? Greg has a black screen on my screen, so I don't know if he's there or not. So, okay, and now because people, oh, Mary Morse, I don't know that I got, did we get you, Mary, or was that, we got you because it was just Mary before?
It was just Mary before. I'm
Yes,
back.
right.
I'm here.
I get that. Okay, so then did I miss anybody who came in and didn't get on my screen in the order? Okay. Well, this is very exciting. Congratulations, all of you. You did a really great job. It was very fast, but it's very exciting to have all of you here. So many organizations represented, so many people that care about this issue of sustainability, of biking, walking, making our communities more livable. So we just appreciate this. We only meet 4 times a year, so coming together is just always a real joy for me, and I know for Peter and for Ramsey County for sure. And just thanks everyone for that. So we're going to get right into our program. We're so excited that Gloria Jeff is here on her day off. Very excited that you were able to do this. And Brian is going to introduce you, and I have the PowerPoint. So whenever you're ready for that. But Brian, I'll wait till you introduce Gloria, then I'll start the PowerPoint.
I'm very happy to have my friend Gloria here. Gloria and I worked together at MnDOT when I was still there. Gloria brings a wealth of experience from a variety of parts of the country, including Michigan, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Wichita, to bear in the discussions that she'll speak to today. But most recently, she's been working on the connection between livability and Rethinking I-94 project. I've been, as part of our work in Ramsey County, both Connie and I have been part of the Rethinking I-94 project, as well as other folks, and are excited to see how things evolve with that project. So Gloria, I'm glad to see you. Nice to see you here today. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Brian. It's always good to see my friend Brian. When he hired me into MnDOT, I said, he's going to be my new best friend. And he has been that. And he has truly been that.
I can see that.
Mary, let's get the PowerPoint
All right,
up.
let's get the PowerPoint. I'm going to be sharing my screen here. Let's see, share screen. Here we go. Share. Let's see. Okay, now do I have to do it on to?
You're good. You actually have the first slide up.
Okay.
And
do you want me to be in a presentation mode? I thought I had presentation mode.
You're in presentation mode.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, okay. Great. Just tell me when to do the next slide. That's great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. As I said, I am enthusiastic about the initiative that's been undertaken with not only Rethinking I-94, with this idea of focusing on livability and the many facets of livability. While I am knowledgeable about the Rethinking I-94 activity and project and will be willing to answer your questions, let me be very clear today that this is not a presentation on Rethinking I-94, but it really is about a new initiative being undertaken by the Minnesota Department of Transportation's Metro District that focuses on livability. Its roots may lie within the Rethinking I-94, but it is envisioned as being much more than just that. Let's go to the next slide, please.
Okay, so of course I was trying to get my screen up and now I got to go to the next slide. So how do I find that again? I have not been, when I share, I lost my little screen that said next slide. So let's see, now I see all of you, but I wanted to see all of you.
Just hit one of the down arrows.
Okay, let's see, here we go, let's get this. Okay.
That didn't work.
Okay, here. Let's see. Oh man. Why? Yeah, I minimized it, unfortunately. Okay, wait. Got it. Okay. Here we go. Now you're probably not in. Is that good or did it go?
It moved.
Sir.
But yeah.
It's not in presentation mode.
It's not in presentation mode anymore. I'll put it back in there. Okay. So you can.
While
Oh, yeah,
she's doing that, I can very
yeah.
quickly talk about the fact that there's sort of three things I'd like to get accomplished in this presentation today. One, I'd like to introduce you to the Livability Initiative and what we hope to accomplish, outline for you what the essential components of it are, and then finally focus on equity, because when um, Candace first got in excited about this, it was when we were presenting on the equity pillar of the livability framework, and it is one of 7. Mary, are you still there?
I am. I am.
It
You
may
want
be
me to?
easier if you give me
Yeah,
the
I think.
ability to share and then move through it.
Yep, I think that would be best because then I can still watch my screen. But I'm working on that right now. Here, let's see. Share. How do I make you? I have to make you a. I've said everybody can share.
Okay.
You can share, so just go to share.
But you're still sharing, so you have to stop sharing.
Oh, great. Okay, good. I'll stop sharing. There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was really just trying to be fancy and see everybody on my screen before, while I was doing your slideshow, but I guess I couldn't do that because I can't get back to it. Do you have it now? Okay, you're gonna do it now.
Yes, I'm going to try and do it now. Do you see anything in
Yes,
front of you?
we do. We see, yes, it's not present. Yeah, now you can put it in presentation mode. Perfect. I think it's best.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Excellent.
Okay, so just a little bit of very quick background about what is Rethinking I-94, so that you have a context within which our livability initiative was developed. Rethinking I-94 is an effort to improve MnDOT's engagement and relationships in the corridor between downtown St. Paul and downtown Minneapolis along the I-94 right-of-way. And while MnDOT's primary responsibilities are to preserve and repair transportation infrastructures, we also, as a result of the goals for the organization, want to include enhancing mobility, safety, and interconnectivity. There are a number of representatives from the bicycle community in this group, and it should help you to know that there's a standalone subcommittee within the Rethinking I-94 effort that focuses on pedestrian and bicycle issues, needs, and potential considerations in the alternatives that will be developed at a future time. Rethinking I-94 is, in addition to making sure that we preserve the infrastructure, is also about the business of prioritizing the well-being of those who live, work, and play along the corridor, not just those who drive through the corridor. And this initiative was started in 2016 by a public apology by then Commissioner Charlie Zelli for the actions of the Minnesota Highway Department in the 1960s. The engagement approach that we are adapting for the Rethinking I-94 is one that focuses on getting more folks involved, more voices being heard. We have traditionally organized representatives of the various natural resource protection agency organizations. We have organizations that are in the 21st century, always at the table as we talk about
What are
project
you
planning.
rattling? Oh, sorry.
And that we wanted to make sure that those whose voices are not traditionally represented or heard or at the table presenting themselves and not being represented by others would be at this table. And we wanted them to be involved early in the process so that it wasn't after a design or a series of potential designs had been identified, but we wanted to have them at the table to help define what the issues were, what kinds of impacts we needed to look at. And we wanted to, as part of our ongoing being parts of the Minnesota landscape, making sure that we established or rebuilt or continued resilient relationships with folks. That led to the establishment of 5 sort of essential guiding commitments, not just for the Rethinking I-94 effort, but for all of MnDOT's projects as we move forward. And that is focusing on shared vision with not only within MnDOT and its traditional public works partners, but also with the community and those who advocate for the communities. A sense of co-power, not of mutual veto, but the ability to recognize that not only do the professional transportation folk have expertise to offer to the effort, but that members of the community do as well, that it will be built upon relationships that are authentically respectful, that there is transparency. It doesn't mean that we're going to do what everybody says we have to do every time, but it'll be clear how we reach those decisions so that there's no, as in my early days in transportation, there is no black box. You will see exactly what goes on. You will see exactly how things happened. You won't always like the outcome, but you won't be because you didn't know how they got there. And then it's going to be inclusive. Going back to my earlier point about making sure that it's inclusive, not only of those who have the time, the dollars, and the expertise to be involved, but also for those who have not traditionally been a part of the process. We also saw in this effort that there are 3 roles for MnDOT. Everybody knows about our role as leader. When it's our dollars on the table, it's on our right of way. We definitely take, and it's related strictly to building a project and addressing only issues around infrastructure. Clearly, MnDOT has the lead by both statute of the state of Minnesota, as well as from the federal government in terms of how and where and what we spend dollars that are passed through to the state of Minnesota from the federal government. But we're also a partner. There are initiatives that are undertaken by MnDOT or by its partners like Ramsey County Public Works, where we have to work together to work on mutually supportive timetables and definitions of what the issue is to be addressed and how solutions will be done. We also include in that partnership not only members of the professional community, but also, again, citizenry, public advocacy organizations, those who bring a passion to the issue. And then finally, we have a role as facilitator. There are a whole host of things that it would be wonderful for MnDOT to be able to do, but we're not really able to do by virtue of statute or by virtue of it being not a statewide responsibility, etc. But what we do have the ability is, as our organization is known as one that solves problems, we are able to identify who needs to be involved in finding solutions. And so in our role as facilitator, we may pull together meetings involving those who are concerned with economic development or who are involved with education or who are primarily responsible for workforce development. All of those issues are important, some of which MnDOT has no statutory responsibility, but we can serve as a facilitator to pull the correct parties into a virtual or literal room to find a solution. Or as my friends in Hamilton like to say, make sure that the right set of folks are in the room when it happens. So let's talk a bit about livability. We are utilizing for livability a very broad definition developed by a group within the U.S. Department of Transportation, in which it talks about livability as being the quality, location, and type of transportation facilities and services that are available to achieve community goals that are broader than just those associated with moving goods and people from point A to point B. And that includes things like access to jobs, affordable housing, safe streets, and quality schools. And we recognize that there are a whole host of definitions that others have for livability, but this is the one that we've locked in on with due respect to the fact that others may have a different definition. The livability framework has 7 essential components to it. And these came out of dialogues with members of the community, with the academic institutions along corridor, and that represent statewide institutions. It also included businesses, business associations. It included community-based organizations that were composed of the district councils, as well in St. Paul, as well as, again, others who said we're members of the community. I think Cheryl introduced herself as just a citizen. We included just citizens in the dialogue that resulted in the creation of the livability framework. And its 7 fundamental components are health and the environment, equity, sense of place, trust, connections, and economics or economic vitality. One of the things that we did are in the process of doing, I should say, is in addition to having said, here are the 7 pillars and having identified what those topics might look like, we're developing a series of livability papers. In those livability papers, you'll be able to see information on what current practices are, not only here in Minnesota, but across the United States. They will present policies of what might be undertaken, as well as projects and programs that might be considered. The unique element about the livability framework, it is not envisioned as a handbook for MnDOT, but it is envisioned as a handbook for all of those involved in transportation, whether it's the county of Ramsey, whether it is the city of St. Paul, whether it is the local bicycle advocacy groups, whether it is your favorite district council, whether it is members of the philanthropic community that are looking for a way to make life better, so that we are all moving forward with a shared vision, as opposed to being like a early version of robots where it moved in a herky-jerky movement and not always in the same direction. We are hopeful that the livability frameworks will move the entire region forward. We also want them to, we're also using the livability pillars to establish a series of workshops. And those workshops have been underway for several months now. There's a new workshop coming up on Thursday. The focus of the workshop on Thursday will be public health and the environment. At the end of this presentation, there'll be a link shown that will take you to the Rethinking I-94 website. At the bottom of at the bottom of the intro page will be a link to the Livability Network where you can click on and sign up for the workshop that is on Thursday from 10 to noon. And again, the topic for that workshop will be public health and the environment, one of the pillars of the livability framework. We will be we have one called Connections, where we want to make sure that the infrastructure not only provides your ability to get from point A to point B, but also provides meaningful connections to the social and cultural attributes of community. Connections are not just, can I get from the south side of I-94 to the north side of I-94, but do I have a connection with the communities on both sides? Do I have the ability to have friends and neighbors and services available to me and easily accessible to me? We also have one called Economic Vitality. When you look along the I-94 corridor between the two downtowns, there are a myriad of neighborhoods and communities. We have the industrial complexes at 280, at Trunk Highway 280. We have the academic institutions at Augsburg, as well as at Concordia. We have sports centers like the ones at USB Stadium, as well as the professional soccer location, as well as the Central High School athletic complex. So we have a multiplicity of things. We also have at the easternmost ends the community college. So there are a lot of opportunities to talk about the vitality of the community and those who contribute to it. And so the focus on economic vitality will be how can we utilize existing investment proposals to leverage future investments and to maintain and advance the economic vibrancy in the neighborhoods along the corridor. And as we look to this as a district-wide, region-wide initiative. We look to do the same thing with other transportation projects. It isn't that the Minnesota Department of Transportation will write a check. Rather, if we're writing a check to take care of one of our principal responsibilities, that there's an opportunity to partner, to leverage our investment, or to leverage the County of Ramsey, for example's investment to improve the quality of life for folks along there. Public health and the environment. Again, there's a lot that's usually considered within the context of any environmental assessment process, whether it's the state of Minnesota's or that of the federal government. We again want to look beyond those so that we are looking at not just the natural environment, but the social and economic environments as well. Safety is more than making sure that we reduce the number of injuries and the numbers of fatalities. It is also about issues of personal space. And do I feel safe walking down my street? Is my street designed, my residential street, designed and maintained in such a way that there's adequate lighting so that I feel comfortable riding my bike after the sun sets or before the sun rises in the morning? Are the land uses along in the area of a transportation investment, those that are conducive to a secure environment for movement? And what should we consider beyond just the issues of making sure that there's a reduction in the number of fatalities and injuries, and that there are um, solutions that address weaving movements, etc. What else do we need to do? Sense of place is important in the context that, again, we've got not just places to drive through, but places with unique personalities, with unique activities that folks want to show off and be known for. It isn't enough, we all complain about being a flyover state. What do we have to do to not be a drive-through neighborhood? What is it about your neighborhood that's unique and makes you want to invite others to come in and share your unique experiences and opportunities? We also want to, as I said earlier, talk about this whole issue of resilient relationships. An essential element of that is trust. We know that actions of the Minnesota Department of Highways in the past and some of the social justice issues that are in place today have caused government to not be an entity that is trusted. We want to make sure it's part of this livability framework that we work to rebuild, um, establish anew, or in some instances, just shore up what we already have in terms of trustworthy relationships. And then equity, which is the one that Ms. Bernardi got enthused about, was the one that I came to focus on today. I can't see the chat box in this mode. And so I feel like I'm doing one of my lecture concert series, and I would really not like to do a lecture concert series. So please, if there are questions in the chat, feel free to interrupt me and pose those questions. Equity is an important aspect with respect to transportation because everybody doesn't need the same thing. This is an image that is, I think, one of the best explanations I've ever seen of equity. It says equality is everybody gets the same thing. Equity means everybody receives the same benefit. And that's the difference. If you look at the image on the left, that's equality. Everybody got a box of the same height, width. On the right, you see that the individual to the furthest left didn't need any help to get the benefit of being able to see over the fence. The individual in the middle just needed a little bit of help see over the top in order to see what was going on. The third individual needed a lot of help to get the same benefit. So equity isn't about giving everybody the same thing, but it is about making sure that everybody gets the same benefits. And that's an important starting point for our conversations. Let me back up. We're going to try this one more time. There we go. My youngest teenage.
Gloria, I hate to interrupt, but there was just something put in the chat on that picture, because I think a lot of us have seen that picture before, and I like it as well. I will just say that Brian Martinson had a comment on that. Brian, do you want to give it? I mean, I could read it to you, but he says the image troubles him because while they can all now see over the fence, they are still behind the fence and not in the seats. Oh, I love it.
Thank you very much, Gloria, because I think the focus on equity, as you say, has to be central here and is very important. But I think equity can exist along multiple dimensions. And so I think there's equity across different population groups. And I would also say we need to be focusing on equity across different modes of transportation use as well.
Absolutely, which is why you're going to love my next slide. It's a great lead in. One of the things that my youngest is now in his 40s, but when he and his brother were teenagers, there was no such thing as enough to eat in their minds. And so as much as they might have wanted to inhale the entire pizza at once, no matter how much they tried, they ended up only being able to eat it one slice at a time. And that is the key here. You're absolutely right, Brian. There is this issue around equity with respect to geography. Are you in an urban or a rural environment? Are you in a central city or in a suburb? There's the modal issue. Are you riding a bike? Are you walking? Are you utilizing a single occupant vehicle to deliver freight? Because everybody forgets when they talk about single occupant vehicles that most intra-city trucks are single occupant vehicles. Is it about, are we moving people or are we moving goods? There are differences with respect to gender. There are issues with respect to race. There are slices that deal with ethnicity. There is income. There is ability. All of those are part of the pizza. All of those are slices within pizza, if you think about the equity as a pizza. And while they are all important and all will be dealt with, you can't eat the whole pizza at once. You got to eat it a slice at a time. And so in that context, the Minnesota Department of Transportation has worked up a working draft definition for the update of its long-range plan. And it says that transportation equity ensures that the benefits and burdens of transportation spending, services, and systems are fair, which historically have not been fair, and people, especially Black, Indigenous, and people of color, are empowered in transportation decision-making. It does not mean these are the only groups with which we are concerned, but these are the groups with whom we will start our eating of the pie. It doesn't make any other slices less important. You just can't eat them all at the same time. Although in dealing with this particular definition, we believe that we're going to be able to deal with issues of income, of geography, of issues around modal differences. We think that in doing this, we will be able to at least look at those other attributes, not find 100% comprehensive, but bring to the table those who have not even had an opportunity in the past to be at the table. And to not just be at the table, but to have a place setting, to have the ability to have the food passed around and included on their plates. Because there are folks who get invited to the table, but don't get invited to eat. With that in mind, we have not yet had our equity. We just had our equity workshop last month. Utilizing this particular definition, we are still putting together a summary and we'll be sharing it with our senior leadership within the district in the next couple of weeks. But the conversation, and one of the things we've done with our workshop is we have limited government participation, in that we have begged our colleagues and our partners from county government, from city government, to not be in the room, so that we have the opportunity to hear from the folks who are not normally in the room. From the, as Cheryl Bailey says, just the regular folk, they have an opportunity to be in the room in addition. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and open up the floor for conversation.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Wow, this is very exciting. It's wonderful, wonderful work. Thanks for sharing all of that great information. And so now I am gonna open it up for any conversation or questions. And I'm just gonna start out while I'm waiting for people to raise your hand, either in the reactions, or so I can see your hand raised, or just wave your hand in front of the screen, although I am showing two screens, so I'll have to go back and forth. So if you don't see, if I don't see you, you can just speak up. But Gloria, thank you so much for this. We love Brian here in Ramsey County, and we know he's been doing this. He's been at MnDOT before he came to us, and now you're at MnDOT. How long has MnDOT been working on these things? I mean, this is a really great vision for MnDOT. It's not typically what we think of MnDOT paying a lot of attention to, although, excuse me, Brian, if you were paying attention to it a lot longer than I remember seeing it. So it's just such a great presentation to be coming from MnDOT, because we imagine, and believe me, I've had really good interactions with people from MnDOT, but in the past, it just hasn't seemed like they've been focused on this. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I can. One of the things that Rethinking I-94 is about is changing how we do the work. We spent the time period between 2016 and 2018 just talking to folks, whether they were members of the community, whether they were business interests, business organizations, the academic institutions, name an entity, and we talked to them. We appeared at public events. We went where people were, kind of an approach. In 2018, as we were pulling together, what did we learn in that period, 2 years of talking to folks, the livability framework came out of that. And so we've been working at translating the livability framework that we developed into an actionable effort on the part of the agency, really in earnest for the last year or so. Prior to that, we were attempting to integrate it into the federal environmental process. And after a very respectful and lively and passionate at times series of conversations with our friends at the federal level, we were able to reach an agreement that we would do this livability initiative on a parallel track, that the environmental requirements of the federal process were very process oriented. And it was, you do A, then you do B, then you do C. And these are the things you think about when you're doing A, and when you're doing B, and when you're doing C. There was agreement that the issues that were as broad as the livability framework needed to be addressed, but we're doing it as a parallel effort as they're developing the environmental documentation for Rethinking I-94. There are places where we look forward to influencing and informing the environmental process. For example, in the fall of this year, they will be doing some work associated with taking a draft purpose and need as well as goal statements and translating those into some not final, but close to final documents. We've already been able to influence the goal statements by including some of the concepts within livability. So, long answer to what you, I'm sure, thought was a short question. That's how
No,
long,
I didn't. But yeah.
that's how long we've been working at it. We hope to complete the livability papers by the end of the calendar year in some final form. And